Hi, welcome back. We are in a potent and powerful week. We have the Lionsgate portal. So some of you are like, what is the Lionsgate portal? Which you can find a bunch on YouTube if you want to get deep into it. But just essentially, it kind of came from Egypt. It's an alignment with Sirius, the star Sirius, and the sun. And I think there's other astrological configurations. And I don't know that much about it. I just know like the basics. And that actually in Egypt, it was their new year. It was a time for celebration. The Nile was like rising, and they considered that like abundance and all the fish and things that they could get from the river. So it was considered this celebratory time. And it is a portal of energy because of the cosmological alignment that's going to end. We're in it right now, and it will end on the 12th, on the eclipse. Mostly what people hear about is 8, because the number 8 and the 8 of manifestation, power and abundance and all the things that 8 represents. And yes, while that is a numerological layer, we do recognize like that layer, but the actual frequency of the day is calculated differently. And so actually it's a 22. It's the day, the frequency of the peak of the Lionsgate is 22, right? And that's a master number. I've made a video about it. I'm sure I'll talk about it again, but you can learn more about that on that video. But it's 2 11s. So we recognize the 22 as 2 11s, and then we do recognize the 4. And the weekly frequency is 4. For today's video, I'm going to focus more on those numbers because those are in the universal frequency alignment. Essentially, if we are using the Lionsgate portal to have visions and manifestation, like the 4s are really helpful, right? Because the 4 is about building, it's about structure, it's about setting up foundations, taking things one step at a time. And we need that, right? We need that so we can take our ideas and all our inspirations and actualize them here on Earth. So we actually become co-creators and we get to have that experience. And it's usually really fulfilling. Sometimes people get caught up in the 22 or the divine vision. I just want to say, like, if you don't have a divine vision or some kind of large vision for the Earth or the planet, you're not less spiritual. People come, we all come. My belief is that we all come and we have a certain purpose and certain lessons that we're learning here. Not everybody's Steve Jobs and going to create, an Apple computer for humanity or something like that kind of divine visionary. That's not how it goes. And also that doesn't make you less than. So I just like to say that because I like to use the numbers so that we apply them in our daily life. And also you can have that frequency. I know plenty of people with the 22 frequency in their chart who's actually just their intention is really localized. And it's really more about like bringing that divinity inside themselves and bringing it to their everyday life. They have kids and how they're educating their children, how they're teaching their children. Those are with intention. And that is really powerful. I remember there was a bumper sticker in the 70s. Yeah, that's how old I am. It was like, think globally, act locally. I like that when I talk about the 22 because sometimes some of the most powerful things are done really locally. They don't have this like grand, infamous scale thing. And there are people that do that and have that, and that's just part of their purpose. But this week, it is a good time to whatever you're visioning or whatever you're inspired about. Maybe it's something that you've been thinking about, but you're too busy and you don't get around to it. And you're like, I always wanted to do X, Y, and Z, or I always wanted to clean out that spare room and make an art studio or do this, but I'm too busy with my family and my job and the things. So this week is a really good week to just take a step. Whatever it is, like you don't have to clean out the whole garage. You don't have to like make it, I'll do all that. Just take some steps. Maybe you clean out the closet. Maybe you call a friend and have them come help you move some furniture. Maybe, if you do have a bigger business idea, if you do have a bigger global idea, you like get on the phone or you like do some research or write out a plan for it. So it's a really good week to take some steps. Because sometimes I think people are like, I'm just manifesting, and like they're not really doing anything. And so the 4 is like, no, we have to do something. And the universe is like, we have to do something. We have to take a step, and the universe will meet us and like help us with the direction. Sometimes people don't take a step like unless they can see the whole thing. And that's not really true. Sometimes you just see part of it or you feel something and you're just like, I'm going to move in that direction. You don't know. And actually that's kind of beautiful, like to create that that way, because then it starts to get revealed to you, and you really feel the co-creation. You're like, whoa, now I feel like I'm going to do this. And you end up in a different place than you ever thought you would ever get to, because you didn't really actually think about it in the first place. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but it is kind of cool. And I think some of you can relate and understand that. That's what I'm encouraging this week, just to go ahead and let yourself do that on some level. And the other thing I want to say is grounding. So the 4 is really about grounding. 22 is like, what is possible? And then the 4 is like, this is how we take the steps to like make it actually happen. Okay, but what I wanted to say is that grounding. So we have a couple of eclipses coming up. It's kind of like energetic weather. When you know there's going to be weather like a big snowstorm or a big rainstorm, you prepare. I'm mentioning it to you because it's a really good week to get grounded in your practices of how you ground yourself. Right? Even if it's like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, once a day, twice a day. If it's more than that, great. Whatever it is, like exercising, yoga, breath work, meditation, anything that connects you to your center where you can be still and kind of shut your phone off and, kind of get away where you can center yourself. And you want to do that because there's just an energetic storm coming. And I'm not trying to scare you, just so you're prepared. So that, yeah, you might like bend with the storm, but you're not going to break with the storm. I get excited because it's kind of like high surf. If you're prepared, then you can actually ride the wave instead of the wave kind of riding you, like when you crash in the surf. Okay, I'm going on something else. So take a step, do something. And also, we don't need to know exactly where we're going. It will be revealed in time. Thanks for watching. Share with me your visions, what you're building. I always love to hear from you. Like, subscribe, all the things. And I'll be back next week to talk about the solar eclipse.